In this video, I'll be covering the differences between the two main diploma qualifications, DipFA and DipPFS. So firstly, what is DipFA? DipFA stands for the Diploma for Financial Advisors and is a qualification we have covered here at Premier Jobs UK, both in our blog and our YouTube channel. The links to both will be in the description box below for you to be able to check out. And I'd recommend reviewing these because they go into more depth about the qualification specifically, as we've created content on a guide to DipFA and how to revise for DipFA. And so they can be really helpful if you are interested in learning more about it. But in a nutshell, DipFA is a level 4 FCA approved qualification required to provide professional advice on retail investments, and it's broken down into two units. So first you've got Unit 1, which commonly is known as the Financial Services Regulations and Ethics, or abbreviated to FSRE. It's a 2-hour objective exam comprising of 90 multiple choice questions, with then 2 case studies at the end, which also have 5 multiple choice questions. Then you move on to Unit 2, which is called the Advanced Financial Advice, or abbreviated to AFA. And that consists of 2 parts itself, a coursework and a written exam. For the coursework, there's a main written assignment and short answer questions. And then the second part is a 3-hour written exam based on a pre-release fact find, which is made available 6 weeks prior to the exam being sat. In terms of the cost of DipFA, it costs £1,090 with tutor support, or £990 without tutor support through the LIBF. And this price includes study materials, exam and exam entry. If you need to resit, defer or resubmit, there would be additional costs incurred. There are many benefits to undertaking the DipFA qualification, and to name a few, these include the LIBF allowing you to study at your own pace online. You also have varied study options so that you can pick the right one that's based on your preferred learning style. Then also, by undertaking the exam and preparing for it, you'll be enrolled into student membership for 1 year, which includes multiple benefits such as career support, guidance, access to events and webinars from industry leaders, and also being part of the LIBF community. And then the final aspect is if you successfully complete your DipFA, you'll be able to use the DipFA designation after your name to really show off that you have achieved that excellent qualification that is widely recognised within the industry. The second main diploma qualification is the DipPFS. So in order for you to obtain the DipPFS, you need to undertake a number of different unit modules that total 140 credits to give you the status of DipPFS. Now these unit modules are made available through the CII, through their Personal Finance Qualifications Framework, and they offer 37 different unit modules in total for you to select from. And those do include unit modules from the Diploma in Regulated Financial Planning and the Advanced Diploma units as well. So in terms of the cost of obtaining DipPFS, it can vary widely in terms of which unit modules you take, but this typically costs around £1,109 to £1,512, again depending on the modules you take and also whether you're a member or not. This is something we covered in a previous blog in terms of the different routes to become a qualified financial advisor. So check the description box below because there'll be a link to that for you. Much like the DipFA, there are varied benefits of studying the DipPFS, and to name a few, these include the fact it's got a very flexible approach through selecting the different modules. By selecting the modules, you'll typically revise and sit an exam at a time. Now obviously you can undertake more at the same time, but most commonly people do it consecutively. And so undertaking each exam gives you a real focus on that topic, and once you then pass that exam, you move on to the next one, you study for that, you move on to the next one. So it can really help people who struggle to absorb a lot of information in one go. Also, in terms of if you are successful in obtaining the DipPFS qualification, much like the DipFA, you can use that designation. On this one, you'll use the DipPFS designation after your name to demonstrate the knowledge you've obtained, the technical capability, and also your ongoing commitment to professional development. Not only with the DipPFS have you got the designation of those letters, but also through their mutual a recognition agreement with the European Financial Planning Association, you'll also be able to use the EFA designation if you desire. Also, another benefit of studying through the CII for the DipPFS is you'll have access to the CII's wide library of resources, financial planning publications, reports and documents that really can help you in your study for your exams, but also your wider awareness of the financial planning industry. What is the difference between DipFA and DipPFS? So in the long term, there are no differences between the two qualifications that would make one more recommended as a general rule of thumb over the other. Ultimately, they get you to the same destination, which is becoming Diploma Qualified, which is the right step in your career should you want to become a financial advisor or a qualified paraplanner. As we discussed earlier on in this video, the main differences between the DipFA and DipPFS would be the structure of the exams. With the DipFA, you have Unit 1 and Unit 2. So in the FSRE, it is multiple choice exams. And then the Unit 2, you've got the coursework and the written exam as well. That's in 2 units, you then become Diploma Qualified. So if you feel that approach is relevant to you, then fantastic. Whereas the DipPFS, to obtain the 140 credits, you normally need around about 6 different unit modules to obtain those credits. And so you'll be able to do a much more focused approach, such as if you do the RO1 through to RO6 exams, you'll have certain topics you need to study for. So if you feel that approach is for you, then fantastic as well. In terms of whether you should go with DipPFS or DipFA, this answer really comes down to a personal circumstance. I would not recommend one over the other as a general rule of thumb, unless I knew about your personal circumstances. And the first one is if you started work towards either, then you should most definitely go with that. You're already on the right track, so continue. Don't dwell and think maybe I should change. Continue on the path you are. Unless you feel it's not working for you, you may need to reevaluate. The next part in terms of whether you should go with DipPFS or DipFA is also in terms of the personal circumstances of the cost, or how you feel you'd manage the study towards it around your work and personal commitments. But just again to stress, they do get you to the same place of that diploma qualification. So one is not better than the other. And my last piece of advice would be not to overthink or overanalyze this decision. I do think for some people this could be a case of analysis paralysis, which we did cover this subject in more detail. So see the description box below with the blog on this subject. If you do have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with us or drop a comment down below because as you'll notice from other videos, we do respond to all comments. And if this content is helpful to you, please do like and subscribe because it means a massive amount to us and is something we are wanting to make sure we continue to deliver the right support and knowledge to you.